other interesting issue is the language is the same as to you as it is to the auditor. And the language is that thou shalt, basically, levy the taxes upon the real property for the purpose of collecting the water master service fees. If you don't, I think they're still gonna. And I think they'd be within their right to do it. The auditor, that is. Is that a fair statement, Matt?
That is correct. That is correct.
You'll be happy to have this straightened out, won't you?
Yeah, like water wars will never stop.
Okay. All right. Did you take public comment? No, we didn't.
It's very dangerous to not approve approved debt service.
Is there anybody who would like to comment?
Iona McCain speaking here on item 6. The way that is written up is there's so many issues that if you say yes on it, you're saying yes on all of them, but they're different. They should really be separate. I mean, this is poor English.
What I can say as your attorney is that I don't have a dog in any of these fights. What I would say, though, is it's probably very important for the fiscal integrity of the county to at least consider the unitary debt service rates and the voter-approved debt service issues. Water master service being something different, perhaps. But the other two?
So, if we could split them up, can we do that? Let's do that.
It's your prerogative, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And perhaps the auditor's office would like to address the unitary debt service as well as the property tax rates and the voter approved debt.
I'm not really that brushed up on.
Okay.
I have a little bit more information on it.
I think that, I'm not sure where that language comes from, but that may apply to the Mayor's Memorial Hospital and the waterworks bonds. I'm just looking at the auditor's memo that references actually 4 types of levies. But if it's the intent of the board to just remove the water master,
You can exercise that resolution. Third paragraph, the third whereas, and then after
yeah,
the and water master service areas,
yeah,
and therefore be resolved.
I'll suggest that.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing the board correct, the suggestion is that the resolution being proposed by the auditor might be approved if references to the water master service fees was removed. And if that be the case, I think it can effectively be approved, or removed, excuse me, while still approving the other items where approval is being sought. And to effect that, it would contemplate basically striking the third whereas paragraph on the resolution. Specifically, whereas California Water Code Section 4277 directs that the Board of Supervisors shall annually and at the time of levying county taxes levy on the land within the county within the water master service areas a portion that's sufficient to raise the amount certified by water master service agencies, that would be stricken. Likewise, after and into the next paragraph, and the therefore be it resolved paragraph would be struck. The last 4 words of that paragraph that said, and water master service areas, and just put the period after debt service, I think that would affect that change effectively.
Okay, thank you. So there's one question, Tom, any questions?
I'm sorry, and up at the top in the title of the resolution itself, in caps, the last 3 words, "and Water Master Service" should
Yes.
also be stricken.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the board? When was the last time the board adopted a resolution dealing with the first 2 items?
Don't recall that. Suspect it was back in the Bixby days. My recollection is it was done as part of the budget process. Because
So usually in conjunction with adopting a budget, they were setting all these tax rates and all those things, so.
I know there had been a suggestion at one point by someone that we try to starve the state by adopting a 0 tax rate, even though that would cut off our nose.
Well, 70% of the taxes go to the state to pay their school bill, so indirectly you do impact them. We could take a tax holiday and take all that money that you've got stashed up and just pay the taxes that way. Don't look at me that way, Tom. They're down to
Tax
three-
holiday.
They're down to 3 people, so they've lost, if you take out the water master stuff, then that leaves the other 2 board members are affected by the resolution.
Should I invite him back in?
I am reluctant to agree to that as the council. We're still considering the entire item as a whole. And there are those that would say that they should remain until it's clear. But that's me.
So the tax rates for the schools are increasing by what?
Well, the tax rates on the school bonds are a function of the debt service, which is a finite amount divided by the assessed valuation, essentially.
Right.
And so, that results in a rate of almost $39 per 100,000 on Susan School.
So in addition to paying your regular 1% rate, which is set by Prop 13, you have to kick in, any bond, things like that are added to the base rate.
Which
Because
was-
they bought by vote of the people.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a voter-approved bond.
And previously,
Right.
So pretty much all school districts have some sort of a bond in place right now. Most of them do.
So really, we're not changing anything with this vote, except for the water master thing.
Actually, according to this rate right here, Fort Sage, Johnsonville, Ravendale, Shaker Union, Big Valley, they don't have any bonds.
Right.
So if we, I have a question for, if we pass this with the changes, remove the water master service, then satisfies all the schools and all that deal? And we just withhold the amount of money going to the RCD is
They will still be done.
the same amounts?
What's been submitted by the water district certified will still be put on the tax roll.
Okay, so what are we accomplishing by changing that? Just basically making a statement that
Yes.
we don't, but you still give them the funds?
Yeah. Water code still says the auditor shall.
Okay.
She'll take care of it without you.
Yeah. So what do we do? Should
Well,
we do nothing or change it or?
Well, I'd like to see this resolution changed to exclude the water master service.
The council identified those changes to do that.
You making a motion?
I'm making a motion.
Jeez, about time.
I just wanted to know what I was voting on, you know?
to do what, though, for the clerk's benefit? Motion, if you could be more specific for the benefit of the clerk, please.
Okay. To accept the resolution, what is it? Adopt the resolution with exclusion of the water master service being included.
So it'll have to be on your conscience now.
It's on my conscience.
No one Diane's.
With the changes previously identified. Thank you.
How's that?
And you're good with that? Okay. Thank you.
Do we get the second?
Well, why would I second something and vote no on?
All right. Okay, we tried. Nice chat about nothing, I guess. For a while. Okay, so, it, dies for lack of a second. Is there any new motion to pass it as stated? Otherwise, we move on, right?
Yep. We'll get that, John.
Very good.
Oh, goodness.
Alrighty then.
You ready? Come on in.
We had a lot of rights for the auditor to do all the same.
Right.
I don't know how this gets fixed though, it just keeps going forward here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we raise your rates, you double them.
Really, how's anything ever gonna get fixed?
So how do we fix it? Everything. OCD.
Alrighty, well, H7.
Get out of the way. Go sit down somewhere.
Mr. Chairman, this is another episode in the saga of the Amity Airfield property. And I hope today to update you on our progress and get some final direction for the issuance of an RFP, if that's what the board desires. Mr. Anderson and his staff have put together a couple of options since our last discussion. If the board will recall, early on in this process, we had a discussion about whether or not we're going to offer the property in its entirety or in separate parcel or keep it or what have you. And the results of that were that we were going to keep this small parcel at the bottom of the property and dispose of the rest of it. Subsequent to that, our last meeting, there was a suggestion by one or two board members, and we were given direction to go back and come up with some options to keep other parts of the property back or offer them separately. So we've got 6 different options here. First one being maintaining or not offering the East Shore property. There are some arguments in favor of keeping that for the county, mainly because of the potential contamination that's out there and the risk that a purchaser acquires that property and then comes to us to do something with it, and then we tell them, well, you can't do that because it's got all these restrictions on it as far as disturbing the soil and so forth. There are,
Which one is that?
that'd be this parcel here.
That's along the lake shore.
Along the lake shore. Utility of that parcel is pretty questionable. There is a road that transcends most of it, pretty good road. And then there's what I think the consensus is the value, if any, of these parcels is around the airstrip, highlighted in yellow. So that's one option. Offer that yellow parcel, keep this, offer them separately. And then and I'll stand over here. The next option, A1, is I think an option that Supervisor Chapman alluded to last time we were here, and that would be.
No, that's
No.
not the one I was suggesting. Mine's more consistent with these 2 other.
He's over
Oh,
here.
over here, okay. Well, this would be, one option would be to keep this portion down below the Amity Airfield Road, but adjacent to the airstrip. A2 would be what we fundamentally discussed prior to our last meeting, which is just offer the whole thing. And I'm going to talk generally about all these options in just a minute. This would be then to offer all of it as one except keeping that. A4 would be, and maybe this is the Chapman option, would be, the red area would be retained by the county, and keep in mind, there's access road here, this is a very good maintained road along here, and down here. Offer that property and, or this separately. Final option would be the county keep that parcel and offer all the rest of it. Now, as it pertains to all of these options, there are multiple legal parcels, assessor's parcels on these properties. We can convey them as they are with several underlying parcels that may or not conform to existing zoning. Or we can merge them together and so that it's clear the configuration that we're transferring it in. That applies to all of these options. I think that's a fundamental discussion that Mr. Anderson can get into more detail, but shouldn't, if the board decides to do that or configure this in a certain way, it should not delay the process. We would do that at the same time that we're doing the RFP process. So that's the parcel configuration. With the, Mr. Anderson's going to address the Airport Land Use Commission issues. And might as well just do that right now.
Well, I would be happy to do that. I think we actually did a pretty good job last time addressing it. We talked to our outside counsel, our land use attorney. He does not believe that the RFP process triggers what's known as an action in terms of the airport land use plan, so, or the lack thereof. But however, the disposal of the properties would. And so we are working with two different outside consultants to figure out what it's going to take to get a plan done by the time of disposal. So that's that, and then I can go into the parcels and reiterate what Mr. Egan just said is really why there's so many maps. There's really only three. The question comes down to, do we again want to get the board to say in the affirmative yes or no, whether or not the East Shore parcel really needs to be part of that. And then the second, comment is, there's really not any distinction between any of the colors because there's tons of underlying parcels. So to pick the yellow and the orange is pretty arbitrary because there's all kinds of things going on in there. And so my suggestion was that we just make it look either like option A5 where it's all orange and we keep something, or option 5 where it's all orange and we don't keep something. And so the question for the board remains, as Mr. Egan said, is do we want to just let this property go in whatever shape and let the future buyer deal with all these little parcels that are in there here or there? And just recently found another one where there's an exception on top of an exception. It created a little teeny parcel, but it's a parcel. And so I guess my recommendation is, and I don't think it affects the timeline, is decide how you want it to look and we can make that happen and be on our way. I would pity the fool, the planning director in the future, which probably wouldn't be me, that's dealing with some surveyor engineer trying to figure all this out again. I mean, we've gone to great lengths to try to focus the lens and understand what's happening. I think that it would be probably a shame to lose what we've gleaned in that process. So I say make it look like what you want it to look like, decide what you want to get rid of, and I don't think it really will have a bearing on the RFP process itself because we'll be going down that road concurrently. So those are my thoughts.
So we decide on whichever exhibit we decide on, what kind of time frame are we talking about to get the actual RFP out?
The RFP is ready.
I guess what I said, it needs to come back to the board one more time for approval. So today's the 9th, that could occur on the 23rd. So we could release it immediately thereafter.
We come back with a resolution so we all understand what we're doing at the same time and agree on what the contents are. And then, like I said, the RFP is 90 days.
That's up to you, but that's what we had envisioned.
So
is-
if the RFP is 90 days, you know, if we were gonna do CFCs and make all the parcels just legal, whatever they are, we could do that in the next 2 hours. If we want to do lot line adjustments, we can convene a TAC and probably get that done in a few weeks. So it's not gonna,
What kind of costs are we gonna incur doing that stuff?
the board's gonna direct me to do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, you're
But-
talking staff time.
The CFCs are already, we've already done mock ones so that we can pull the trigger if we need to. Because we needed to know what parcels are there anyway. And then lot line adjustments, mergers, you know, there's a variety of things that would go on, but the cost is fairly minimal in terms of the overall project. And then I would just say this, and this is just a personal comment, is, you know, I think the board should contemplate whether they want to decide what the shape looks like, get it done, and then advertise so somebody knows what they're buying, versus doing an RFP and we're behind the scenes deciding what's what, and they don't really know yet. Or the other thing is let the market do what it's gonna do after they buy this stuff, they come in and try to figure it all out again.
I don't think we've had a question of anybody not knowing what they're buying. I think the big problem is having a question of how people are trying to sell, that, so we have to get that resolved first.
I guess I just don't see a real value to the county getting rid of the East Shore parcel, all the orange leg, with the liabilities that go along with it. Because I agree with Mr. Egan, the value is the yellow.
So you're gonna try to sell the yellow and landlock it with county property?
Well, it's not landlocked, you can get to it from the other side.
Yeah, but
And you can always provide that, there's a road, and you can always provide the road. The
so
road-
what's gonna happen if somebody buys that and they wanna put a road in county property, then,
The road, where the road is,
yeah.
they would, if they were
They'd
going
have
to
go through
disturb
years
more
and
than 2
years of You
feet.
guys screwing with them.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I understand where your debate is coming from.
Absolutely.
But there is a lot of risk and liability along with that parcel, and maybe we get rid of it all because we say it's as is, and here are the restrictions and covenants on that parcel, and so buyer beware, get your permit through the Department of Toxic Resources if you want to do anything, so on.
But, I mean, there's nothing that you can really do with that other than put a road in there. That property is basically worthless. I mean, it's alkaline, it's, in
The lake.
it's just, you can't farm it, you can't build houses there. You can't, well, there's cows on it.
Bomb throw stuff, boy.
Yeah, Bob, yeah, I heard you were retiring, buying more property. Well, I mean, seriously, I mean, if you really look at that property, nothing is gonna happen there except for a road, egress.
I don't,
egress.
not to take county council's thunder, but I don't have a dog in the fight.
Right. I can-
I'm just offering as much information as I can.
There you go.
Pardon me?
You can't sell it as it is, and if it's toxic, it's toxic.
You know, that was where the effort was.
I don't know, I don't agree with all of it. Well, none of them, so. Get rid of it and be gone.
That's good.
And I would say one thing too, Richard mentioned it, the road up top, all the road except for, do you have a pointer? Right here. All of the road except for whatever reason, I think I'm better off over here. See that little wow right here? The road actually goes off through here and back, and there's a bumpy road that goes through
2
here.
miles.
Yeah, that, for whatever reason, that wasn't included, but the rest of the road is a pretty fabulous road.
There's 2
I mean,
miles.
you could go
there's
60
2
miles an hour
There's
on
2
it.
miles that.
So,
Take a lot
I
of.
only mention that, it might be something, at least on the upper part, that the board wants to consider having some access to, or taking it.
Well, the county's got access right here on this road into the runway. At any given time, they can't block that off, it's a county road, am I right, Richard? county road, it goes right to the top of the runway.
I'm not sure.
There's a
It's an
building there.
easement. It's a county easement.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, from the north, I think there's access.
There is that.
From the south, not so much,
Yeah,
because you have to come through the base.
yeah.
Could there, is there a possibility if we did one of the maps that sold everything to write in the easement? Is that-
That's
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So everything would be A2?
Yeah.
Reserving across it an easement to get to whatever you reserve for county use.
Is that, it gives you, it's called Amity Airfield Road. I mean, it goes right to the
Right.
runway,
This one right there.
so if you guys wanna maintain that, I'm good with that, that's okay.
Well, not maintain.
Retain.
Retain.
I don't
To be
believe
clear.
let me tell you, I don't believe there's ever gonna be a snowplow on that road from the county. They can't even plow in front of the first aid school.
According to Malcolm, that Amity Airfield Road, if I recall, he said it was a 30-foot wide easement.
It's a nice road.
It's just 30
It's not
feet.
very wide.
Yeah, it's just a bare bones minimum easement.
Oh, it's in good shape. It honestly is in good shape.
When we were discussing, I went back looking, to try to find in the file the map that I had marked with the highlighting that I did that day, and I put up on the board, and then I recall, I think it wound up staying on the board, and I forgot to retrieve it, so whatever happened to the map, I can hard to say. But looking at the maps that have been portrayed, what I was looking at was at north, would be the northeast corner coming off of, well, where our property butts up against Magazine Road, and basically using Amity Airfield Road as a southern boundary to it, down to where it has that road that kind of goes to the north. So that part there kind of going towards the middle of the airstrip. That wasn't part of what I was looking at. It was a much smaller parcel. And not wanting to have that little finger kind of sticking off there on the south side of Airfield Road, what I kind of proposed is you use the boundary line, which would be just south of the airfield road, and just extend that line straight down to the airstrip, and then, of course, go north where you have, this road right here. So it'd be kind of more like this down to here and then back up. Just kind of retain that corner up there, so that gives you,
From this road over.
yeah.
So on A5, are you talking like everything?
Yeah,
to the-
I can show you, maybe that's right. What I was looking at was you have this road right here come in, is use this property line, just come straight down, and then use this road going up. So everything in that corner is all that I was talking about. And when Malcolm was saying it was only 30 feet wide, coming down and taking this boundary line, so you just don't have this little odd finger going out there. But that's what we kind of capture as basically as a portal in the north. I mean, other than just that small little corner of the airport. But my question is, the airstrip, if I recall, actually comes out here into the county, into the county parcel out in here. So,
2,000 feet.
so when you really talk about retaining the airstrip, I think you need to look at doing something with that county part there, because otherwise, if you sell all this off, you're selling off part of the airstrip. Because the
Well, but
airstrip
again, it's subject to the lease.
Subject to the lease, which,
well, but the issue is if you're gonna be responsible for the airstrip, I mean, I think it'd be great, that we own something, but we have to go negotiate with whoever buys the orange to use our property. And that's what I just don't find, I mean, if we're gonna
You don't
retain
have
the
to,
airstrip,
Jim, you have
if
the Amity Airfield.
you're not gonna do that, then get rid of the airstrip too. I mean, if you're gonna be responsible for the airstrip, you should at least own all the feed ground underneath the airstrip and not have it be something that you have to bargain back from some outside interest. And I think retaining the public, that northeast corner for public access is at some point in time, as the airstrip is being developed or used by the private parties, they're gonna be wanting some public services. We're gonna be talking about, fire station, we're gonna immediately on hand, maybe a terminal, maybe, tank.
If I can mark this up, I think what you're talking about is kind of.
Well, no, it's a little bit, the airstrip just kind of sticks off the end. I mean, you can see where the airstrip is on the map, and it goes it's kind of more like, it's kind of like this, it sticks off into this property here. So, I mean, that's all part of the airstrip, and you can't give that away.
Like that. So the county would retain this, from the road over, the sliver,